Hello and welcome to 2026, everybody. We made it. It's 2026, and this is the first Hemm Productions podcast of the year. Welcome back, everybody. Bet you thought I was gone for good. All the legions of fans screaming, "Where the fuck did it go?" Well, I'm back. Don't worry. I'm back. And better than ever. So, for today, we're just going to go over a few of these great movies that I saw in cinemas. Well, I saw maybe one great movie in cinemas and a couple of mid ones. But before we do that, let's check in with some news. There isn't too much to talk about, but let's drop the theme anyway, and I can bring up some shit I found interesting. So, after a super tumultuous last final month of news, there hasn't been too much that has caught my interest. One thing that's relevant to today's show, The Housemaid is already getting a sequel. The less than stellar Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried movie directed by Paul Feig. A good thriller to waste your time watching. And enjoyable. Doesn't really set up a sequel, although now that I think about it, yeah, there is a place you could take a sequel. I guess this is what we get now. Anyway, I don't know if the book has a sequel, but yeah, so there's a little bit of news for you. What else do we have? We've got the teaser for the new Peaky Blinders movie with Christmas spirit, so it's a festive winter in this film. And it will be starring Cillian Murphy. It's nice to see Cillian Murphy still doing smaller projects and just getting some passion stuff out the way before going back to huge feature filmmaking. Obviously, we had the Odyssey trailer, the full thing uploaded rather than just the teaser that we got when watching Avatar. So that's some big news. I've seen some people criticizing the looks of the characters, saying it's not accurate, some of the armor, but I'm gonna kind of ignore that because I think it looks bloody great. What else do we have? So Pedro Almodovar, one of my favorite bloody directors ever, is going back to Spain to make his next film, with his last film, The Room Next Door, being an English language film. This is Bitter Christmas. Returns to the romantic landscapes and interiors of Spain for his latest film about mortality. When's it coming out in the US? Do we have a trailer? Being released by Criterion. Doesn't seem to be a trailer yet. Anyway, Curzon. Wait, no. Almodovar. Yeah, no. It is Almodovar. I thought it was someone else for a second. Yeah, I'm reading straight off of IndieWire's news page. What are you gonna do? Fucking kill me? That's how you get the good information, guys. Anyway, not much else to report there. Nirvana, the band, the show, movie teaser. I just want that movie to be friggin' out already. Ugh. Anyway, I'll quickly go over the box office. I'm rethinking doing the box office game at all just because of how inaccurate it is. But when we do have a weekend to talk about, it is interesting. Now, I'm sure I mentioned that Avatar was going to top everything, and it did. On Christmas, I'll just give the top three for the Christmas weekend. We had Avatar Fire and Ash make $5 million USD, Anaconda made $2.3 million USD, and then The Housemaid made $2 million. Rental Family down at number 7 with $200,000. I still want to see that. Still a few things to see. But let's look at weekend 1 of 2026. It's number 1, Avatar Fire and Ash. Number 2, The Housemaid, jumping spots. Good word of mouth, probably. I think a lot of people are enjoying the movie, despite me not. Number 3, we have Anaconda. Number 4, Zootopia 2. Still hanging in there. Highest grossing movie of last year, it looks like, right behind Avatar. Song Sung Blue at number 5. The Spongebob movie Search for SquarePants, that would have been new last week. Where did it even show up? I don't see it on the friggin' list the last year. That feels like an error. I guess it's not there. Well, anyway, yeah, Spongebob movie Search for SquarePants. Yeah, look, because it made money. Anyway, that was probably on the list. See, this is why we can't do the box office. And I'm just glad you guys get to be here and discover this together with me. Anyway, number 7 is the coral that, not coral like rocks, like coral like Yo! Starring Ray Fiennes. Number 7. Number 8's Wicked for Good. That's made $21 million, which is really impressive, but when you think that Avatar's already crossed that, just shows how kind of flat in the water that was. Number 9 is Nuremberg, which I still haven't seen. And number 10 is Durandar, that Indian thriller I was talking about a couple weeks ago, which has made a ton of money worldwide and honestly looks fucking awesome. I keep saying I want to go see these movies and still don't, but maybe that'll change this year. Anyway, let's get into what I saw over the break. So now let's get into the break movies that I saw. I actually saw a few things, including seeing Fire and Ash maybe 2 more times. And I saw 5 minutes of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 right before The Housemaid started, and that was the worst cinema experience of the year. Now, The Housemaid is an adaptation of a thriller novel. It's kind of like a junky paperback thriller. And the book's meant to be very good. It's written by Frida McFadden. I looked it up. Apparently it is a series. So I guess we know where the sequel is heading. If we want to find that. Anyway, so the housemaid discover what lies behind closed doors. Trying to escape her past, Millie accepts a job as a live-in housemaid for the wealthy Nina and Andrew Winchester. But what begins as a dream job quickly unravels into something far more dangerous. A sexy, seductive game of secrets, scandals, and power. Now, I was really looking forward to this. It's directed by Paul Feig, who I don't think is a very good director, but he's a very nice guy and he gets a lot of movies made, including Another Simple Favor and A Simple Favor. Another Simple Favor came out last year. He had Jackpot the year before. A few years before that had Last Christmas. He's also made Spy, the Ghostbusters movie that everyone was weird and sexist about, Bridesmaids. So yeah, he's made a lot of movies, some hits, some misses for sure. This I would put in the hit category for him, but in terms of overall quality of movie, I'm going to put it in the miss category. Now, 2 of my favorite actresses. What the fuck am I talking about? One of my favorite actresses, Amanda Seyfried, is in this movie, and she's reliably manic against Sydney Sweeney playing a piece of fruit. Now, alright, let me pull back a little bit. This movie is like a thriller that relies on a twist, so if you don't want spoilers, immediately drop out. I'll probably discuss the spoilers. It's kind of a thriller where Sydney Sweeney, who's placed in this house, she's a maid, and suddenly the wife starts acting manic, and the husband's really nice. And you can kind of see a budding romance between Sydney Sweeney and the husband. Meanwhile, tension between Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried, who's slowly losing her mind, it seems like. Their exchanges are the most interesting just because Seyfried can electrify anyone, even a little bit, even a corpse, like Sydney Sweeney's performance in this. Truly, her line deliveries of things, she has there's no difference between her saying, I'm being killed, and, someone dropped a napkin on the floor, or, I got my car dirty, I need to pay for my car, or stuff like that. I don't know if any of this actually happens in the movie. Point is, she's not very good, even though I'm rooting for her. I'll go see Christy, which comes out this week, and maybe she's pretty good in that. So, I like these kind of movies. I like thrillers, I like ones based off paperbacks, I like little twists and turns, and I could see the turn coming in this from a mile away, which is just, there's something freaky going on with the husband. There's a freaky attic room that has a lock from the outside, and by the time we get into the second half, it's clear that Amanda Seyfried, the twist is, she's being the one in an abusive relationship. She is the one actually suffering, and this perfectly seeming guy is actually a bit of a freak. And I thought the actor who played the guy was quite compelling. He was also in Drop last year. Brandon Skelnar, I believe his name. He was in It Ends With Us, Vice, Emily the Criminal, Midway. Yeah, so he's been in a few things. I think he's very handsome and very talented and plays this role of psychopath quite well. When the movie's really depraved, I was most enjoying it, and I think when it's handled on his shoulders rather than Sydney Sweeney's, when it's mostly about Seyfried and this character, it's the most fun. Why is this movie not good? Because none of it really fits together nicely. Nobody talks like real people. There is obviously a lot going on in terms of class commentary with the Long Island moms, everyone judging Sydney Sweeney. There's even the part of the manipulation is she makes it seem, she puts Sydney Sweeney into the nut house. I've been there, I'm allowed to say it. And he fucking manipulates a story with the police so it looks like she was trying to drown her own child. All sorts of terrible shit. And eventually it turns into a big bloody thriller where we get some revenge. Only problem is Paul Feig is not a very exciting director, and I didn't find any of the visuals too inspiring. I didn't find any of his camera work too inspiring, and since the acting already wasn't that inspired, Amanda Seyfried's brilliant, but of course she's brilliant at playing manic and depressed. She did that so well in Twin Peaks: The Return almost 10 years ago. So yeah, I really didn't get too much new out of this, although we don't get these kind of movies a lot, and so I did enjoy seeing it, and it was quite a packed Christmas Day house with lots of couples. I was there with my grandma, best couple of all. And yeah, honestly, weird movie in terms of, it could be so much better. I don't think replacing the director would have done much. I just think the source material doesn't work as well on the screen. And Paul Feig is just kind of boring when it comes to all this shit, although I don't know who would make it that much more interesting when it comes to production stuff. Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a sigh overall, which is a bit similar to how I felt about this Spongebob movie. So let's get into this Spongebob movie. Just final words on The Housemaid. I did enjoy it as a lock and key kind of drama, paperback thriller, but it's not very good. It's not very memorable, but watching that in the theater and turning your brain off a little bit is quite fun. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I just gotta be honest, I didn't hate it, even though Sydney Sweeney is a piece of fruit. Really want to watch Christie, I probably will. Let's get to the next film, SpongeBob, like I talked about. Yep. So, this latest SpongeBob movie is much like the others. I think it's a bit better than the other one, which felt... The last one I saw was Sponge on the Run, which Sponge on the Run, I believe, was meant to go to theaters, but didn't. Watched it on Netflix, remember watching it. By the way, I went with my nephew. I didn't just go to see SpongeBob by myself. I went with my brother and my nephew. And my brother and I watched the previous one, Sponge on the Run, which was good, but felt so much like an advertisement for the upcoming spin-off show. This one, thankfully, doesn't have any of that guilt, or that baggage, I should say. But it does have similar bloat in terms of, we've kind of done a story like this in SpongeBob before. It's called The Search for SquarePants. SpongeBob's never really lost. This is kind of a movie about him wanting to be a man again, except through the pirate perspective. He wants to be a swashbuckler like Mr. Krabs, and a Flying Dutchman played by Mark Hamill, who voices... And does he play the live-action version? No, he doesn't. Oh, spoiler alert, guys, there's a live-action version. Anyway, sorry, guys, for the massive spoilers. They go to live-action for some reason towards the end of this. I honestly don't have too much to say about it. It was mostly a funny, jokey movie, and I think it looks great. I think the animation is really nice, this 3D style that they've done in their previous Netflix movies, the Sandy Cheeks movies and Sponge on the Run that I mentioned. My main disappointment is just it doesn't go much further than any of the previous adaptations. It bums me out a bit. I like the dynamic between SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs and with Squidward. Squidward gets a little bit sidelined in this, unfortunately. But he's still there, and Patrick's still there, and the Flying Dutchman... Alright, pull back. The actual plot. The Flying Dutchman wants to get back to the surface, and he needs to find somebody of pure heart to do that. And of course it's SpongeBob, and so they go through a bunch of different tests and feats of strength to prove that SpongeBob's the ultimate swashbuckler like Mr. Krabs, and he even makes himself look like Mr. Krabs a bunch of time. I think the movie's very heartful, and I think the story at its core is simple enough but entertaining enough. It just doesn't really exceed my expectations in any way. It's kind of what I expected. just like another one of these kind of SpongeBob movies that looks nice, that's fun, that isn't too deep, and has plenty of good jokes. I watched it with my nephew on Boxing Day, and we had a great time, but I can't say we're going to be throwing this on again. Whereas that original 2004 SpongeBob movie still has so many jokes, standout moments, so, like, it's so meme-worthy, even to this day. You're not going to get that with this latest SpongeBob movie. You just aren't. There's nothing here that really would make a really exciting clip, or go anywhere beyond the confines of this movie. The SpongeBob franchise is in a weird place, and I think these movies are a decent voyage into SpongeBob for me, because I don't think the TV show is really written for me anymore. So 2026, we gotta admit, the kids show that's been running for like 25 years is no longer aimed at me. But I enjoyed the movie nonetheless. Enough classic SpongeBob humor for fans, and if you got a kid who loves SpongeBob in your life, not just a random kid, preferably someone related to you or like a family friend, take them to see this. Don't take them to see this next film, Sentimental Value by Joachim Trier. Now, this movie is quite a hard one to go into. It's a very... So, let's start with The Worst Person in the World, which was the last film by this director. A friggin' fantastic movie starring the same actress. What's her name? Sweet. So, Renate, Ranciv, I think that's their name. They were in a brilliant film in 2021, all the way... That's like 5 years ago now. Holy shit. A brilliant film, The Worst Person in the World, which is 4 lives of this woman who navigates troubled waters of her love life and struggles to find her career path. It's a really weird movie just about human existence, and this is another weird movie about human existence, although this one definitely has an ego to it, which is interesting. So let me just read the description so I can try and get you on the same page. Sisters Nora and Agnes reunite with their estranged father, the charismatic Gustav, a once renowned director who offers stage actress Nora a role in which he hopes will be his comeback film. When Nora turns it down, she soon discovers he has given her part to an eager, younger Hollywood star. That star being Elle Fanning. This movie is quite a lot to unpack. It's a movie about like forgiveness. It's a movie about movies itself and acting and how all this art stuff is meant to make you process certain feelings of grief. It's about trying to relate to your family when you clearly have nothing in common left and just completely struggle to communicate. And I found it quite moving. This has gotten a lot of awards buzz, which is part of the reason I wanted to see it, but I also love The Worst Person in the World. Joachim Trier's last film. Am I playing Joachim Trier? Who knows? I'm not very good with this kind of Scandinavian names. But I found this movie to be quite stirring. There's a lot of lines that really ring in your head here. It's a very well-written script that goes all over the place, really, and it's quite expansive for how small a story it is, with all these different parts and layers that it explores, of nepotism, of acting, of filmmaking, but at its core is really just about forgiveness and tragedy, and whether you can forgive your father. So I found this quite poignant and hard to kind of watch, to be honest, because it hits at so many raw nerves, especially mental health, even suicide. There's quite a in-depth look at that. And while I don't think it's as effective as The Worst Person in the World, and it doesn't use as many, let's say, magical storytelling devices as The Worst Person does, it does have this one aspect I really admire, which is the house that has been in the family for generations, and we have a narrator that's constantly explaining the different families that have lived in this house, the changing dynamics, and just everything to do with this house. Reminded me of Zemeckis, Robert Zemeckis' movie Here with Tom Hanks from a couple years ago now. But in a much more directed, deliberate fashion. It's clear Joachim Trier, whatever his name, is a very talented filmmaker. I need to watch some of his other movies. And it's clear he's had this burning in his head for a long time. It is about a filmmaker, an aging one, while he's not quite as old as Stellan Skarsgård, who gives a fantastic performance, along with, as Alma, as Agnes, Igna Lilius, who I haven't seen in anything before. I look on her profile. She's only been in a few random Scandinavian movies. Yeah, Norwegian actress. This was brilliant. I thought her performance, honestly, maybe out-trumped everyone else in the movie. And that's really saying something because it's just the super talented cast. Anyway, yeah, I found this film very affecting. It taught me a lot about what sentimental value is, believe it or not. Yeah, it was the best movie I saw over the holiday break. Don't have too much else to say about it. Maybe I'll have some more collected thoughts when we do a foreign film special before the Oscars. I think it was just an accident and The Secret Agent are going to be the front runners in that category. But this is definitely a worthy addition from Norway to the foreign film ballot. So yeah, very good movie. Quite long and quite difficult. So only watch it if you're mentally prepared, basically. Yeah. Well, this recording didn't go nearly as badly as I thought. To be honest, I'm really happy to be back, everybody. To everyone listening, who's like genuinely listening, I actually do really appreciate you. If anyone at all makes it this far in the video. And I don't care if no one really listens because I'm doing this for me, not for anyone else. Coming up, I'm going to have a bonus episode during the middle of the week of the 25 for 25, even though it's year 26. I've expanded it to 30 movies. So we're doing the 30 movies of the century. And we're probably just going to fly through them with a few quick sentences. But who knows, when I did my favorite films episode, that really, and even the worst films episode, they really go above and beyond. But yeah, no, guys, I had a ton of fun recording this. The Hemm Productions podcast is here to stay, along with Beckatar, which hopefully will be uploaded soon too. But for now, thanks for joining me on the Hemm Productions podcast. I'll see you next week, everybody. Go watch a movie.